It's time for Speaking of Speaking. Quick tips and tools to take you from stage fright to spotlight. This podcast gives you an inside look from the world of public speaking and speaking secrets you need to be bold from the stage, no matter what business you're in. The host of Speaking, Carl Richards.
Thank you, Matt. Yes, it's another edition of the Speaking of Speaking podcast. So glad to have you here. Episode 42, by the way, Rocking the Virtual Stage. This is going to be a 3-part series, so you can certainly check back and see what the other 2 are going to be like. This is Rocking the Virtual Stage. Part 1, getting on stage, getting on as many stages as you can. Now, it's a little bit of a different challenge getting on virtual stages than physical stages. Physical stages are a challenge to get on as it is. Virtual stages are, well, can be equally as challenging, but there are ways to go about doing it to make sure that you can get on as many stages as you can. So how do you go about doing that? Number 1 is, why not create the stage? You know, we have so many opportunities to create speaking opportunities for ourselves. Think about it. Facebook Live, that's a speaking opportunity. Hosting a webinar through Zoom, that's a speaking opportunity. Doing an Instagram video, that's a speaking opportunity. So get on as many stages as you can. I like Facebook Lives because they're so easy to do. You don't need to be on them very long. You can find 1 or 2 things to cover or find a theme and carry that theme through. Even for a week, you can do that. I know people that do that on Facebook Live videos. They'll have a theme for the week, or they'll have something different every single day. So Monday might be Motivational Monday. So their Facebook Lives will be about something surrounding motivation. Tuesday might be a tip. Just a general tip for Tuesday. Whatever it is, it's a great stage to get on. It's free still to use Facebook Live, so why wouldn't you take advantage of that? How about creating a Facebook group? That's a great way to capture the audience that you want. Create the Facebook group. Then you can go live in that group with relevant information to why you have that group. The other great stage that you can get onto, and I know a number of people are doing this, I have a Facebook group that's surrounding podcasting. We're going to talk about podcasting in just a moment here. But the other thing you can do is spice up or spruce up, if you haven't already done so, your YouTube channel. A lot of people have YouTube channels. Some people opened them up several years ago. Well, now's a great opportunity to utilize YouTube to your advantage. I know somebody who's been in the business world for over 30 years, and he does a lot of high-level coaching around the world. Obviously, at this point, he's doing a lot of virtual coaching, but he has 3 Facebook channels that he manages, depending on who his audience is for that particular content that he's sharing. But a YouTube channel is certainly a great way to continue to connect with your audience. How about Zoom? Zoom is a great platform, as we've experienced in recent months, where you can host events, you can host webinars, you can host conferences, you can host small group sessions, one-on-one meetings, trainings. You can host them all through Zoom. Now, you want to make sure that if you are going to use Zoom as a platform, I would suggest avoiding the free version. I would get the paid one. Firstly, it's not that expensive, but it gives you that little bit more, firstly, added security, but it gives you the opportunity to share your content or repurpose it later on down the line. All right. But Zoom is great for a number of different things, from events to webinars to conferences, all sorts of things. And then there's what I like to call other people's platforms, whether they be, again, Facebook Live, or whether they be YouTube videos, or whether they be, being part of a Facebook group and being an administrator where you can share in the content there. But other people's platforms, some people have a hard time getting on them. And let me share this with you, because a lot of people will ask me, well, how do you get on other people's platforms? The first thing you do is ask. Just ask and let other people know that you're looking to get on as many virtual stages as possible. I have a colleague, and we've done some business together. She's been a fantastic coach for me as well. And I know that one of the things that she does when she's going out and networking is, and she's obviously doing a lot of virtual networking now, but one of the things that she does when she's handing out her business cards is she'll talk to people about, firstly, whether or not they want to be a client. And she won't come out and say it like that, but she'll certainly set up coffee dates that way, or breakthrough sessions that way. But she'll also say, oh, by the way, if you know anybody who's looking for a speaker, whether it be a virtual platform or a physical platform, I'm interested. I'm looking at speaking on as many stages as possible. So that's one of the things that she does. So ask. Just simply ask, do you know anybody who's looking for a speaker? Do you know anybody who's looking for a guest on their podcast? Do you know anybody who is looking for a guest in one of their Zoom meetings? I actually have a couple of Zoom meetings booked between now and the end of the year, and those are through other people who have invited me. But then I've also asked, do you know anybody else who's looking for a speaker in their Zoom meetings for their group or their organization? So let others know that you're looking for those speaking opportunities. The other great way is with collaboration. There are a host of collaboration opportunities with other coaches or other business professionals that do something. Maybe they do something that's similar to you, or maybe they do something that's complementary. I've quite often done webinar series with other coaches who are also speakers, or they're business professionals, and they're looking for those types of collaborations and partnerships. So look for those opportunities as well. Here's one of the ones that I really like, and this is something you're listening to right now, actually, is a podcast. A podcast is a fantastic stage to get on, and you create it yourself, or you can get on somebody else's podcast, like I mentioned just a moment ago. But a podcast is a great way to not only promote what it is that you do, and let's face it, there's no shortage of ways that you can promote yourself, but podcasting is, think of it this way, podcasting is the future. Think of websites 20 or 25 years ago. What did they look like? Pretty clunky, right? And not everybody had a website. And maybe you remember in your own business or organization where there was talk about whether or not you even needed a website. Well, now in business today, if you don't have a website, it's almost perceived like you're not in business. It'll get that way, in my opinion, with podcasting. Podcasting, in my opinion, is the future when it comes to marketing, because not only can you connect with your existing audience and your existing client base, but you can expand to a global network. And let me share this one little tidbit of information with you. I don't share this with everyone, but I want to share it with you if you're thinking about a podcast. For every 500 blogs that exist in the world today, for every 500 blogs, there's one podcast. So it's almost like the wild, wild west when it comes to using podcasting as a marketing tool. And by the way, if you want to use podcasting as a marketing tool, you want to ramp up your presence, your visibility, you want to ramp up your credibility, I have a great podcasting group on Facebook. I invite you to join it. It's called Podcast Launch Made Simple. So just go to Facebook, look for that group, join the group. There's a lot of information that we share in that group. There will be some free training that'll be coming up in the group as well. That'll give you some information. So if you're looking at podcasting and you want to find out more about it and you're not sure how to go about it, that free training will help you get started. And then that'll actually lead to a program that will give you a professional approach and the professional skills and help that you need to get your podcast launched between now and the end of the year. So join the Facebook group first, Podcast Launch Made Simple, and then look for that free training. It'll come up the week of September the 28th through October 2nd. So I invite you to join that and start navigating in the group and having some fun with that and exploring that as a virtual stage that you can get on and own it, basically. If you ever have a question or have any questions about what we've talked about today about the virtual stage, drop me a note anytime. It's askcarl@carlspeaks.ca. Tomorrow, it's part 2 on rocking the virtual stage, looking and sounding professional, looking and sounding the part. Until next time, it's Carl Richards. Get out there and own the virtual platform.
Thanks for listening to the Speaking of Speaking podcast. Fired up about something you heard today? Want to learn more? Be sure to visit carlspeaks.ca. And don't forget to follow Carl on Twitter @CarlRichards72 or join the Facebook group Speaking of Speaking.